I was like, can I get a check from you? As a graphic artist by trade, I freelanced for several years, and after being laid off from my corporate job back in 2015, I decided to kick my work into full gear with several income streams to keep me afloat. One of those streams was designing websites for various clients, and most of my clients have been amazing to work with. But then I had an epic client from hell that just sucked the ever-loving soul out of me with her self-absorbed demands. And I just have to share this with you because you're gonna love it. Welcome, friends. I'm Angie. I'm so glad you're here. For those of you who are creatives or do freelancing or have your own business and have had to deal with a toxic client at some point, first of all, my heart goes out to you. Maybe you can relate, or if you've been lucky enough not to have gone through this, maybe this will help you identify toxic clients so that if it ever does happen, you can swerve away from that nightmare. Here's my story. So, a few years ago, I had this client. I'll call her Cammie. Cammie was an acquaintance of mine who wanted to believe she was more of a friend because I used to go out with her brother-in-law. So she would call me under the pretense of having some girl chit-chat when actually she wanted free design advice. And I engaged her hour-long conversations because she wanted to hire me to do some work. And being single and freshly laid off from my job, I just couldn't turn her down. Anyhow, she commissioned me to design a sign for her business. We agreed on a cost, and I created some concepts. She kept changing her mind about the design, and we ended up going round and round until finally she decided on one, and I drove to her location to finalize the direction and get payment. She gave me a tour of her office. We went out to lunch. I paid for my own, and she pretty much says, "Thanks, I can't wait to see the sign," and starts walking away. And this got really awkward. I was like, can I get a check from you? "Oh, yeah, sure. I'll have to go back to my office." And literally, I had to wait on her to do a couple more errands before she finally gets out her checkbook. So I finished the sign. I work with the sign company. They deliver it, all set to go. She praises me and promises to give me a shout out on social media, which never happened. No big deal. Then she hires me to design her website. There are more hour-long calls on my dime to lock down an idea, which ended up just being a simple design that she would add on to later. No problem. She says she can pay me half through PayPal, then half when it's done. I said, okay. So I went ahead, designed the website, transferred all the login info and domain info over to her, and all good. So I thought. In the meantime, she asked if I would be an admin to her Facebook group because she literally didn't have any time to do it herself. I agreed because I felt like I didn't have to do much except maybe monitor some posts. And so she gave me the admin information. All set. Website's done. She loves it. I'm ready to get paid. She's like, "Oh, just come by the house. I'll have a check ready for you." So I hop in the car and I drive 40 minutes to her house. This was in the evening and she wasn't home. Her husband said she was away at some insurance function, and no, there was no check waiting for me. Her husband was gracious enough to let me stick around until she came home. Little did either of us know that I would have to stick around for nearly 3 freaking hours, which was beyond awkward, but I wasn't about to trek all the way back home without my money. She walks in finally and was actually irritated that I was there. Really? I didn't get home. I ended up not getting home until past 11 p.m. After that, I was simply done working with her. So I just gave an excuse that I was getting out of designing websites, and I sent her all the information she needed with her site and with the Facebook group. I thought that was the end of dealing with Cami. Okay, a couple years later, I get a nasty gram from a lawyer accusing me of harboring Cami's Facebook group info and refusing to release the login information because she couldn't get in. What? Hiring the lawyer was her way of being extra, intended to scare me, when all she had to do was simply reach out. Because it didn't scare me. I had to laugh, and I'm sure that her lawyer was rolling his eyes. So I replied, letting the lawyer know I sent all the pertinent information to her. But hey, I'll send it again, but please don't contact me anymore. And you know what? To this day, I've never heard from her again. And since her, I have to say that I have never had to deal with any other clients nearly as bad as her. So the moral of the story is, if you have your own freelance business, your own graphic design, art-related business, especially, make sure you get your payment up front. Or just learn how to say no to anything or anyone who feels off to you. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.